All right, so we have here US oil. So let's do some quick analysis here on US oil and see what is the expectation. What am I looking at for on US oil? Okay, so far, if you take a critical look at this, you will realize that we have been in a bullish trend. Price is currently maintaining an uptrend. So there is this zone that I identified previously, and price has broken above that zone. We did see a retest, and currently the last 4 hour candle closed as an indecision candle, though we have a wick higher to the top than the wick to the bottom. So basically this current one is still progressing in the bullish direction. So my expectation is to see price break the range. Then of course, if I see a close above this level right there, that rejection, then I'll be looking out for a buy continuation into this high. Right, this is basically what I'm going to be looking at on US oil. Then of course, if I also see a break in this level, of course, what we are seeing here, we saw a rejection at this point. So basically, I'm identifying this to be a range. Price is currently trading in a range, so I want to see what happens before I react. Okay, so jumping here on gold, this is the new 1 hour candle, and you can see gold did hit this supply zone, and we have seen a retest back into the previous supply zone. So let's step down to the lower time frame and see what we have there. Now on the lower time frame here, on the 30 minutes time frame, I will be in favor of the sell, though we did see an incoming sell earlier before this new 1 hour candle. So basically pre New York open, we saw the very first sell coming in from that session. So basically what I'm going to be expecting, I want to see price take out its low, this candle's low being taken out. Then I should be able to go in for a bit of a scalp back into this. So basically that should be about a 20 pips move. So let's step down to the M15. So now on the M15 is a bit clearer for me, because it gives me an idea that if I enter this trade at this point, I would not be that exposed. So I'm basically looking at picking a sell at the break of the candle's low. Your stop loss is just going to be 24 pips, while I will be looking out for maybe 30 pips direction or sells, right? So basically we should be looking out for a sell stop if the low of this current candle is taken out. Then this previous volume that we saw earlier should be able to continue in that in the bearish direction to give us that nice and better drop. So that is basically what I'm expecting on US30. So sorry, on gold. So as we can see, it is still kind of dancing. So we're just gonna be patiently waiting to see how it unfolds. Let's jump to US30. US30 has been amazing. So of course we did see price creating series of highs at this point. Price has been trading, and we can see that currently price is trying to retest this psychological level, which is the 34,100 psychological level. So in the meantime, I'm going to be patiently waiting to see price head back into this zone. So if price gets into this zone, then of course I'm going to watch out for how it reacts. Then I will likely be looking out for a sell, because if I take a critical look at the left hand side, look at how massive that drop was. So I like to have a smooth ride, of course, where you are not going to be struggling that much. Okay, so let's see what price does if it gets back into this zone. Maybe we can get an accumulation right here, just as we did had in the previous price action here, then we can look out for a nice drop, maybe some 200 pips drop. That would be very, very awesome. All right, so gold is still dancing. The low is yet to be broken. Then of course, as we can see, it has a potential of breaking that low, so we are still looking forward to picking that sell. So remember, if we pick the sell, the risk reward is less. Sorry, the risk is less. So if you decide to go in right now, you have a smaller risk on your hand. But I wouldn't advise for you to go in. Of course, it is always safer to wait for confirmation. All right. So this is basically what I'm looking out for on gold. So let's see how it unfolds. All right. All right. So you're gonna patiently wait to see how price takes out the low of that candle. Then of course, before you have your sell kicking in. All right. We do not want to see price push higher to probably retest, and at that point, if we are maintaining the stop loss, it would have just taken us out before probably we see a drop. So you want to see a clean break, then of course before you jump in. So US30, we are still positive, waiting for it to push up here. Today is basically pure technical because we do not have a strong fundamental to support or to give us an additional volume that would probably push price higher or push price lower. Of course, you know this is a game of volume, right? So you want to see if price is actually gonna drop or push higher. But in the meantime, or in whatever direction you are expecting price to go, you need volume to give it a significant amount of drop or a significant amount of push in the upward direction. All right. Yeah, if you are just joining me for the very first time, please always remember this is the safest place to be when it comes to day trading. And do me a favor by smashing the like button and share this video for other people to also be a part of this wonderful opportunity. And of course, if you have not subscribed, please, please do me a favor by hitting that subscribe button and turn on your post notification so that whenever I am coming live, you will be the first to be notified, or whenever I drop a content, you will be the first to be notified. All right. Remember, this session is always very, very engaging. So make sure to use the chat session and let's get rocking and rolling while we are waiting patiently for our setup for us to make some money. Of course, US oil has broken the uh, range with which I had pre spoken of. All right. So if you had a buy stop right now, you would be rolling in some pips right now. So let's see how many pips we are in. So if you did use your buy stop, so basically just as I have, so the low of this bullish candle becomes a reference point for the stop loss, the low of this bullish candle. So basically we did see a rejection here, which that became our reference for a sell if price takes out that low. Now, so the immediate candle being this particular candle, this is a bullish candle. It had more rejection to the downside. So this is a hammer, of course. So basically that hammer becomes a reference point for our stop loss. All right. So we realize that if price come back to take out that low, there's a high possibility that there might be a shift in trend in the immediate trend where price would continue bearish for maybe for the short term, or maybe a possible reversal. But of course, at that time we would have been able to manage our risks not to accumulate larger losses. All right. So therefore means that if you detect that buy stop at now, you would be in a 22 pip profit. All right. So if you have been using maybe 0.1, that would have been a $22 profit, depending on your broker. Some broker that would be $220. That is why I always recommend you to my broker, where you have all the best trading conditions you can think of. Of course, if you have any challenge, you can always reach out to me for it to be sorted out. So the link is there in the description, where you just smash it and get registered, and voila, you are in the journey where I will be taking you by hand to show you how we can get the pips rolling in day by day. So gold, as you can see, gold is still giving us that struggling vibe. So basically we're still being patiently waiting to see how it unfolds. Is it gonna push ahead, or is still are going to respect us by coming down to break this current candles low on the 15 minutes? Then of course we can look out for that bearish continuation for maybe 25 to 30 pips target. Of course, this is not going to be our usual day trading kind of trade. This is going to be a basically somewhat of a scalp, of course, though 25 to 30 pips is not that much of a scalp, because scalpers will be going for maybe 5 to 10 pips. All right. So let's just stay patient and see how it unfolds. So we have a US oil. So US oil is still in profit at the moment. So for those of us who missed the entry, so let's step down to the lower time frame to give you an idea of where probably you could jump in if the opportunity presents. All right, Emmanuel, I see you. Yeah, it's always good to learn. After the learning, there will the money come. Right. It is very important not to neglect the learning curve in this business or in any business one wants to succeed or progress. All right. So, of course, in as much as we're joining to learn, there's always a best way to learn by asking relevant questions so that we see how best we can help out. So let's see if gold will possibly break its low as expected. Then, of course, we will be jumping in for the sell. All right. So it's about trying to tap into that previous low, and voila, it has broken, and we are about to get triggered. Let's see a few pips to trigger, and here we are in the trade. So let's see how it goes and how everything unfolds. Basically, this is 14 minutes into this 15 minutes time frame, and we are just left with 1 minute for the new 15 minutes candle to pop open. So ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the ride. So now the new 15 minutes is open. I just like the setup, of course. Let's see. So remember, we are going in for 20 to 25 to 30 pips, right? So this particular trade, I'm not going to be greedy, and I don't expect you to be either. So let's see. Um, let's look at our stop loss. So now with this setup, I'm going to revise the stop loss and keep it tight. So we're looking at 20 pip stop loss right here. Okay. So if this setup is going to work, it does not need to break the previous 15 minutes high. It should just drop, right? That is how the setup is. If it's going to work, it should just drop. Anything that pushes it up to break the previous 15 minutes candle, then we know we are out. Even though in the letter it comes to sell, I'm not interested, right? The most important thing is to always manage your risks, all right? So you know your setup. If the setup is one that always kind of uh, it has a high winning ratio, so you should understand how it works. All right, there is absolutely there's no problem in losing a particular trade. What matters is always maintaining a bullish equity curve. That is what matters, guys. That is why you should know your setup and trade it accordingly. All right, so we are back into negative. So let's see. US oil is still in profit. US30 is still trying to push into our zone. So keeping everything frosty right here, guys. Yeah, that reminds me, always maintain a proper risk management. Manage your risks. Don't try to buy a Lamborghini just with one trade, guys. Especially if you are trading a small account. It's very, very important. So let's see how it goes. It ain't over until it is over. Just putting that alert there to see if it hits, then we know we are out. Remember, we're risking 20 pips on this. So in 7, let's look at our. All right, please, Emmanuel, like I said, there are instructions that we have to follow. Um, Send me a message via the Telegram, then we can discuss on that. Right. If the information so far is helping, please always make sure to smash that like button. It is very, very important. Help me smash that like button, guys. So we're just 5 minutes into the new 15-minute candle. Voila. So goal is actually testing our patience, and we are still in it, guys. All right. So US oil, what are you doing, guy? All right. So US oil is kind of trying to retrace. So let's see on the 15 minutes scan, is it an opportunity to join the buys for those that could not join? Let's see. So let's see if we have some. All right. So we are back into the winning zone. We are back. So we are still in profit. So let's see. So we are still in that profit, guys. So let's see how it goes. Like we are just 8 minutes into the new 15 minutes candle, and we are just sitting about 2 people. Is that true? There? right, so I see US oil. Crude oil is giving people the opportunity to join again, right? And it's now about to fly. So this is a 15 minutes time frame. Let's step up to the 30 minutes time frame. So let's see. All right, so let's smash that like button. What is our expectation for this week? How has the week been so far? So we're still in it, guys. We're still in it. So let's look at that 20 pips so that when it gets there, you know what to do. So, so that is 20 pips. So this is a one is to one, right? So first target, then of course you have your overall target being 42 pips. So like I said, there is no news, no fundamental to facilitate the moves right away. So of course, this is what you get when there is no news. Of course, yeah. So we're just counting on the Biden NATO issues, right? So let's see if that can have an effect. I really expected that to have an effect on US oil, but so far I'm not really seeing something significant all through yesterday. Today, we are seeing price just trading within a range, because if you step down to the 1 hour time frame, you could see clearly that price has been trading a certain range. So price has been in this range for some time now. All right, so expecting that bullish continuation. So now this is an inside bar which signals a continuation pattern, right? So we did have two bullish candles with a sell candle, lower rejection. Now, if this candle happens to close this way at the end of this hour, then it is a massive opportunity. It has a high probability, right, to push to 74.32. Of course, right now that would be about a 70 pips range, considering an entry at this point. So let's hold on tight and see how it unfolds. All right, so like I always say, sometimes the trades we take might not reach its potential during the stream. So that is why I always take my time to break down each and every trade, so that even after outside the stream, you can still manage the trade properly, because the essence or the point of this stream is not just to provide signals, it's to provide you with concrete education to why that signal is that setup is being taken. All right, so that you know how to manage your trades or probably generate signals on your own without even coming online to join us, right? So uh, if you give yourself a period of 3 months staying with me here on the live stream, then you should be good to go. So our goal is back into negative. So it's still kind of struggling, guys. Like I said, volume is what we are looking forward to. So in the next 1 minute, we should see some push. We should see some volume coming in. We have 1 minute to go to experience that volume. Is it gonna be in favor or is it gonna be against us? So let's see. In the next 1 minute, that question will be answered. So here we are. 1 minute, new 30 minutes candle is open. Is it gonna be in favor? From the look of things, it's pushing against us. Let's see. It's just a 20 pips risk, so with this, we just want to see how it goes. If it breaks the bearish candles high and it's kind of still slow, then of course we can decide to close the trade before it hits our stop loss. All right. So for now, we're still staying frosty. Right. We are holding our grounds. Alright, so it's time, guys. We are shutting it down. Right, we're shutting it down. There might be a possibility that it's gonna take us out. Right, so shut it down. So upon shutting it down, it's now retracing. Of course, I do not care at this point. Right. Decision made. There is no turning back. Whoa, gold tricked us. Let's see. Was it a trick or so gold actually looks like it tricked us. But of course, that is one or part of the business. So US30 is back into the zone, is right inside the zone. So basically, of course, we are not picking any trade. We are just going to watch out what is going to happen within that zone. So the only trade that I would advise, if you did not join, you can join is US oil. If you were not able to join using the buy stop, and if you're not able to join when it came back to entry, then there is an opportunity for you to still uh, try and take advantage of that. Previous candles high has just been taken out, so let's see. Still counting on US oil. So now let's look at the 15 minutes time frame here. It's a slow day. We don't want to be aggressive by just jumping in for the sell. No, you're just going to be waiting patiently to see how it unfolds. So you can just send in your question. Let's get it done. So like I said, just a reminder, next week we'll be doing our live trading for the prop accounts, guys. So if you have been trading a prop account for quite some time and there is no success and you want to see how you can trade properly and pass to the next phase, of course, if you know anybody that is struggling with his or her prop account, let a person join us next week. We'll be starting off with a 50K account and we will be trading live here. So of course that account will only be traded when we come live, right? So still looking at my itineraries to see if there is a possibility of streaming all through last week, but if not, then I might shift it because for now there are a lot of things that needs to be done. So let's see, because the target is looking at passing the first one in 1 week, passing the first two in 1 week, just by following our simple setup, applying proper risk management, and knowing when to trade. All right. So let's stay frosted, like I said. Get your account ready. So let's see. Gold is seriously still trading within that range right there. So US oil is now back to entry. US oil is back to entry. All right. Basically, this is what you get on a day that there is no proper fundamental to give us that push. Right. This is basically what you get. So it is not new. It's not every day you are going to get that runners kind of setup. So you should always make peace with yourself. The day you do not get, just understand that there is no setup to trade that day. Until there is a setup, you do not engage. So let's take a look at the 1 hour time frame here. So the 1 hour time frame, look at that. So basically this was the best setup we could have taken. So this is for educational purpose. All right. So now price did hit a supply zone, and we did see a bullish candle coming after a bearish candle. So basically what you do, you have your sell stop right there, and voila, the new candle opens and you would have been in profit. Look at what gold is doing. It's currently now dropping after it had tricked us. It is dropping. Look at that. Almost at our 20 pips target. So US oil, is it gonna tour the same path? So gold is doing the doings. So now basically this is a setup that if there was a fundamental to push it, it should have just 20 pips is nothing when it comes to gold. It would have just done a nice drop. But because there is no fundamental to support this, that is why we did see price try to range over some period of time, and now it's trying to give us that drop. So let's see. I'll be very, very much happy if I see this setup close this way. Then, of course, full margin would have been the name of the trade. So let's see. US30 is still giving us that rejection vibe. So like I said, I would have just kind of enter immediately from the zone, but that is not the best because today it might go in your favor. What happens? Does it have the potential of being repeated over time to give you the needed success? That is always the question you should ask yourself anytime you are about to settle on a setup. Ask yourself, this setup I'm settling on, does it have the possibility to give me the needed success? So if it does not, then you need to do away with it and always focus on a setup that has the possibility of giving the needed success. So you can see that rejection. It may look as if you had missed, but trust me, it is always better to be patient. Whoa, what a nice drop. So that supply is a strong one. That is why we did see that nice drop. Gold is still doing the do's. It's still dropping. It's now approaching the 20 pips targets we had. Are we hitting it? Let's see. Let's get it the countdown. One, two, three, four. And we have just smashed that 20 pips target right there. So the first 20 pips done. So but my concern is how this candle will close. I need to see a rejection. So now this candle has just closed strong bears. Then of course there is a high possibility that we would hit our overall target being this 1927. So now one thing to also note here is that the previous candle closed as a marabuzu, leaving a wick to the top. So I'm also looking at, if all things being equal, we might see this bullish, this new candle push up a little bit to retest the previous bullish candle's low, or probably 50% of this bearish candle. Then of course at that point we might see a rejection for price to continue bearish. So let's stay alert and see how this turns out. All right. So first 20 pips done. Now we are looking forward to the second batch of the 20 pips. Are we gonna be able to cash in the entire 42 pips, or we are only able to run away with the 42, which of course is just about, let's say, that is about 14 pips, because the very first time when it was approaching here, breaking this previous high, we had to close. So basically, we are only in profit of about 5 pip overall. So let's see if the runner could do the magic. So now we are getting that correction as expected. So let's see how it actually unfolds. Same thing is happening here on the US30. Let's see. Oh, US oil is actually currently back into profit. All right. All right. So basically, like I said, you can see US oil is doing well. So if you had missed earlier, I asked that you should join. All right, so gold is giving us that vibe that you don't want to dance to. So it's now kind of those that held is back into negative. So it has broken the rule. The rule says it should have given us 50 pips rejection before dropping. But here is the case, it has broken beyond the 50 pips, 50% of the previous candle. So there is that possibility that we might not see that expected continuation. Right. So what are we gonna do? Let's throw it out. What are we gonna do? All right. So US30 is also doing about 50% at the moment. So we're still gonna be patiently waiting for US30. US30 is now the new uh, potential opportunity, because of course US oil is currently doing well, and we are already sitting in profit in US oil, hoping that all things being equal, we will continue to see our profit grow. So let's see. All right, so some days are like this. Some days you're gonna be sitting and your eyes getting hot because trades are just going to profit, going to negative, and you are like, your head will be spinning. That is where your emotions are being tested to know if you are actually sure of the setups you have settled on. Right, so that's why I said earlier, make sure that the setup you trade, a setup that has the capability of always giving you a positive equity curve. Of course, there's going to be bumps along the road, right? So we do not care about the bumps along the road. What we care is that at the end of the day, at the end of the month, so at the end of the week, sometimes you would be profitable. At the end of the month, you should be profitable. But sometimes I hear people say that, yeah, sometimes you might have a negative month. But of course, as a day trader, I don't believe you should have a negative month if actually you understand what you are doing. Unless, of course, you have had a profitable month towards the end of the month, you mess things up. That is different. But if you are having a setup that you are faithful to and you trade it judiciously, and at the end of the month you are running in a negative, then there is something wrong with that setup, or there's something wrong with your approach to the setup, which needs to be reviewed. That is very, very important. Consider if you are doing a secular business, maybe you are selling, let's say, for example, you are selling biscuits, right? And you want to tell me that after buying biscuits, stocking your shops in the beginning of the month, that at the end of the month, you're not going to be making profits? Nah, there are bills to pay, guys. There are things you need to do, right? So that is why it is important to have an edge so that you can stay profitable at least at the end of the month. If you cannot stay profitable weekly, but monthly is something you should really, really fight for. I believe this helps somebody. So we have 5 minutes to go, for 4 minutes to go for the new 1 hour candle to pop open. Same times like this, we just have to switch to the higher time frame to see what is going on. So basically, like I said, I'm expecting a sell from this zone because this is basically a supply zone, and I made reference to previous price action. So of course, if I see a nice setup right here, then of course I'm just gonna gently jump into that trade using the high of the zone as my stop loss. Basically, it's more than about 100 pips. Let's just measure it. So in situation like this, if it happens to close right about this level, so you know that what you have to do is just what you just need to do is to reduce your loss size so that it accommodates whatever amount you are willing to risk. So that should be our stop loss. Let's see. So we have 2 minutes to go for the new hour candle to pop open. So let's see. Remember, like I always tell you guys, this is a patient game. You do not just want to jump in and realize and think that, oh, the market is just going to move in your favor. You have to be patient, right? You need patience to wait for a setup. You need patience when you pick a trade for the trade to actually materialize. You need patience. All through, you need patience. So Gold has actually smashed the SL. So for those that were holding, that is it on that. So now the area with which I was looking at for a stop loss has been taken out. So on that note, of course, gold is out of the scene for today. Right. Gold is out of the scene for today. So know your setup and also know how to trade that setup. So the new hour candle is here. Let's see what we have there. That is the new hour candle popping open. Does US30 have the capability of giving us that sell? I actually don't like the setup on the 15 minutes. I do not like the setup, but it has that possibility of giving that sell. But personally, I do not like the setup it's presenting. So if you are gonna take this, don't use the high as your stop loss. Use the high of the previous candle as your stop loss so that you minimize your risk. Yeah, so US oil is doing the bidding for us, so we are good on US oil. So like I said, gold, not interested in whatever it's going to do now. So US30, of course, I'm not in the trade because I do not like the setup. All right. So even though it's selling, nah, not in the setup. I need a clean setup because I'm looking at a 200 pips range where I can probably make some 5 grand from there. So I'm not gonna just jump into it. So let me just enjoy my US oil right to the bullish direction. So we are already in 44 pips right now in US oil. So US oil so far has been amazing. So we had a little bumps on gold. So US oil has been doing uh, an amazing job. So let's stick to that and see how it takes us to the promised land. US30 is really giving that dropping, man. So sometimes trades happen like this, and you're like, wow, I missed it, right? Especially trades that you have waited for, and it comes and slips through your finger. You're like, oh my God. So within 3 minutes, it has done about 60 pips drop. Look at that. Just imagine that. So that is factoring in the spread. So 57 pips, factoring in the spread within 3 minutes. So we just still stay uh, around till 2:30 and see how price will react within that time. If there's going to be a setup, then we would jump into it. For now, we're just going to sit on our hands and observe what price is doing while we watch what US oil is doing. So of course, if we are in this trade, make sure to break even. So break even so that in the case where it corrects or retraces again, you are still in the trade. Of course, if you cannot hold all the way to 74.32, you can close. Reason being that we are currently testing this high. So that is a rejection area, all right? So if you have a small account, this is the best point or best area to do what? To exit. So now if we step to the forward time frame, right? The forward time frame is currently suggestive that we might see a drop back into this previous level that I had already identified, which is a 1927. All right. So, in case you are still curious about gold, then you might look out for that sell. Right. For me, I'm not gonna join. Right. So, just giving you the idea in case you are still curious about what gold is gonna do, it has a possibility of going down. So, but it will also be advisable to wait for the first 15 minutes candle to close. So when it does, then of course we might have a confirmation, or you might have a confirmation to actually ascertain where it's gonna go. Because all what is happening here is just a trap. So price is yet to do a proper retest of broken structure. So we might see price just flip back up. You might see a flip back up, then price will be dancing, then it just slides down. All right. So that is why it's very important to wait and see how the first 15 minutes candle closes. We are just about 7 minutes to go on this first 15 minutes candle. So that is just to help. So now let's take a look at GU, because GU will also give us an idea of a probable direction which gold might also likely to that same direction or that same path. So this is a 1 hour time frame. We did see bulls there just as the same pattern that was done on gold. So there might be this possibility that we can have that sell knocking in just as what is currently happening on pound USD. So to further confirm that, we just have to jump in to see what the index has for us. So let's take a look at the index. So currently the index is giving us the inverse pattern, which is basically it has a potential of dropping, right? Oh, sorry, it has the potential of pushing bullish, right? So now, with all this in play, then we can look out for a possible sell when we have the confirmation. All right. So at least there is a level to which we are expecting the index to get to. So that is basically it, or probably for it to retest it. This is a 1 hour time frame. So look at that move that has happened so far. Remember, for those of us that had watched the weekly analysis, I made mention that the index is going to be going bearish. All right. So you can go back to my weekly analysis and take a look at it. Then you will learn from that analysis and always know what to do, especially if you are going to be swinging. So gold is actually doing the drop. Amazing. So we missed it here on US30. US30 is actually doing that massive drop. But it's quite unfortunate we were not able to cash in on that trade. So 2 minutes to go for the 15 minutes candle to close. That has been a wonderful drop on US30. So like I said, sometimes you are like, oh, how I wish I had just joined in the sell instantly without even waiting for the candle to close. Now I would be raking in some massive pips. Yeah, that is good. But what happens is that sometimes price want to form a nice pattern within the range before giving us that drop. And what happens if that is the case and you're already in the trade and now price is dragging you bullish and you are already shaking and probably close the trade and you're in a loss. So that is why it's always better to do what? To wait and have some setup. So first 15 minutes done. So you can see right now how the first 15 minutes close on gold. That is why it's always pertinent to wait for candles confirmation. Candle confirmations are very, very important. All right, so let's see. All right, so if you're still in US oil, it is time to shut it down. Secure your profits. You might not be willing to see price drop back into entry and before it probably goes up. So we might see a replication of what happened previously here. So it is safe to do what to close. Like I said earlier, based on this rejection here. Right. So especially you have a small account, don't take the chances. Secure your account. Look at that nice drop and it's now correcting. Whoa. Whoa. All right, guys. So we are wrapping up here because the market is too slow for our liking, guys. So secure your profit in US oil. US30 was a main trade, and we were able to scamper out of gold sell before it did the mayhem by correcting back into the stop loss region. So this is it, guys. This is where we're gonna be drawing the curtain for today. Like I said, if you're still gonna be looking out for entries on gold, do look out for how price react within this retest region. If you see a nice drop to break previous 15 minutes candle, then there might be a possibility of this previous sell volume continuing. So let's trade safe and always remember to maintain a proper risk management until Thursday, where we'll come back and see how we can rake in more pips. Trade safe, guys, and always preserve your capital.